Cut this up. Put it on repeat. We supposed to be the losers, but we winning though. They used to laugh at us, now we. What's going on, folks? Welcome back to another exciting episode of Strong Arm Sports, the realest sports podcast in all the land. And before I introduce me and my co-host, I want to thank you guys, man. We just recently kicked off our podcast locations. That's ऊPodOmatic, that's iTunes, that's SoundCloud. And thanks to you guys, man,
everywhere.
We've been rapidly moving up the charts. You guys are showing love, man, and we definitely appreciate it. But in case you're new here, man, I am KSpadeTheProspect.
I'm your boy Paris57, and together we form Strong Arm Sports. Spade. Ain't no need to prolong it. Let's kick it off. Let's talk Western Conference Finals. We have the Houston Rockets going against the Golden State Warriors. That series is starting this week. Spade. You know, we done talked about the East already. We see who we got winning over there. We kind of, well, I kind of shocked some people. Some people don't think Atlanta have a chance. And we're going to pick over here. We're going to pick on the Western Conference side. So who you got? You're going to start on this side. You're going to start.
Man. All right, so look. As a sports fan, I would love to see Atlanta versus Houston. I would love to see that. These are two teams, small market teams that, you know, you don't see in these big games. Really, you don't even see them this deep into the playoffs. Realistically, though, I don't know that I can call it that way. And the same thing for this series right here. I want to believe that Houston, the height that they got, the dominance, I hate saying dominance and Dwight Howard in the same sentence because he's not that. But the dominance that they've shown in the paint with Dwight Howard, I would like to say that gives them an edge, but Golden State just put away Memphis with Zebo and Marc Gasol, two bigs that I think are better than Dwight Howard. And I just feel like Golden State is a shooting team. If they own, they own. If they off, they off. And really the only thing that can stop Golden State is them being off. So with that being said, man, I definitely feel like Golden State is going to pull this series out. I expect the Rockets to fight, especially if they can get, you know, contributions from the three-headed monster, which is Trevor Ariza, Corey Brewer, and Jason Terry, who has stepped up big in the absence of Pat Beverly. But I definitely feel like it's going to be a Golden State series. I'm going to say Golden State in 6. I know that was long-winded, but I had to explain that thing, man.
Well, because you went so long, I'm going to keep mine short and sweet, and I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to say Golden State in 6. Shockingly, we agree. I just don't think. First of all, Dwight a hoe. I'm just not a Dwight Howard fan. I'm sorry, y'all. Don't kill me, but I'm just not a Dwight Howard fan. You know, Dwight Howard. Sometimes last series he played well, man. He had a decent series. He had I think 1 or 2 big games in the last series they was in. But I just don't think Dwight Howard is consistent enough to help James Harden out. It seemed like they're going to, if James Harden, it's the key to me is going to be who's James Harden defending. Because if he's defending Steph Curry, that means Jason Terry and Pergioni or all them other guys are on somebody that I think can, you know, Golden State has the advantage. If he's Dean Clay, do you really want Jason Terry and Pergioni chasing Steph Curry around that perimeter all game? They both like 30. They both like 39 years old, man. I just don't think Houston have enough, and for that reason, I'm going to say Golden State in 6.
You know what?
I'm going to say Golden State in 6.
It's funny that you went to that for your point because that's what worries me for Houston. If Pat Beverly was there, I think he's a great defender, and I don't think anybody can lock up Steph, but I definitely think it's times that he could frustrate Steph. I don't know about the Jet. I don't know about Prig. I know Prig is supposed to be in this amazing physical condition. I don't know. I feel like the only thing that can stop Steph is him having an off night. We've seen it a couple of games in the playoffs. They're gonna need a few more.
Yeah, you know, Beverly. If Beverly was there, I would agree with you. I would give them a puncher's chance, and not just because I think Beverly to stop Steph or Clay or whoever. I think Beverly is tough. Like he's like a small goon. Like he'll get in Curry's face. He will full court press Curry the whole game. That's the type of defender Beverly is. And with him not being there, I just don't think he used to have enough. And plus, Dwight a hoe. Like Dwight ain't it, man. Dwight ain't
well,
it,
you know
man.
what, man?
For real. So.
From one big guy to another. Let's move to the next topic on the list, man. Let's talk about Deandre Jordan.
Okay.
Deandre Jordan is a center for the Los Angeles Clippers. This team just probably was the biggest embarrassment of the playoffs this year. I mean, let's face it. They were up 3-1 with another home game on the schedule. Everybody pretty much wrote off Houston, probably including these Clippers. They went out there and got embarrassed. And right after they lost, that's when the bickering starts. You start to hear things. We heard that Chris Paul and Deandre Jordan kind of had some they wasn't really feeling each other. But the big thing we heard was Deandre Jordan came out and said he don't want to come back to the Clippers unless they give him a max deal. Lil Paris, is Deandre Jordan a max player, bro?
Deandre Jordan is not a max player. He's not a max player. He got to make free throws, man. Like he's an offensive liability, man. He just, you know, to me, Deandre Jordan is a good defender. You know what I mean? He's an amazing rebounder. He's a rim protector. But $100 million, a max deal for Deandre Jordan? No, sir. When I think max play, I'm thinking LeBron. I'm thinking players that can go to another team and be instantly turn that team around. And I don't see DeAndre Jordan as one of those players. Now, Blake Griffin, the way Blake Griffin is improving, he's a max player in my opinion. I think wherever Blake Griffin go, if he continue to get better, Blake Griffin can turn the team around. DeAndre Jordan, I don't see it. Plus, you're an offensive liability. They're going to hack at DeAndre, especially if they don't get rid of this rule. And they will teams will force the coach or team that you go to have to take you off the court, man. And it's not a lot of teams out there that would do what Doc Rivers did and keep you on the court when they doing this hack or whoever. It's not a lot of coaches that would do that. They would take you out. So for that reason, for that reason, I would say DeAndre Jordan is not $100 million man. He's not a max player. He's gonna get paid, but in my opinion, he's not a max player. He's not a max player.
Well,
how do you feel about DeAndre?
I'm gonna go a little harder than you. I honestly feel like I think it's too many guys getting max. I don't think it's many max players. By my own personal opinion and my definition, a max player is a guy who can carry his team. And even though Blake is improved and Blake looks amazing, as of right now, Blake can't carry that team. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about a LeBron, a Steph, a Harden. I'm talking about these guys who, if he can stay healthy, a Rose. These types of players, to me, are max players. DeAndre Jordan did have, I guess you could say, a good season. He averaged 11.5 points a game and 15 rebounds, both of which are career highs for him. 11.5 points and 15 rebounds for a 7-footer in this league where it's really no centers anyway. Nobody even wants to be a center. You could be 7'1" and come in the league, you're going to be a power forward. And you better not have a decent jump shot or you'll be a tall-ass small forward. Nobody wants to be a 5. So in this current league where it's not really a lot of 5s anyway, 11.5 points and 15 boards a game and just being horrendous at the charity stripe, that combination right there doesn't equal max player to me. To throw more shade to this situation, Mark Cuban reportedly, I don't know if this is true, Mark Cuban reached out and said that if DeAndre Jordan can show him 5 free throws in a row, he would give him that max deal. Now, you know Mark Cuban will break bread, and he will bring him down there.
Yeah, he does.
I don't really know why. You got Tyson Chandler, that kind of the same person on the court a little bit. I even think Tyson might be a little more well-rounded on the offensive end, but I don't know, man. I think he'll get paid because it is a lack of centers. But in my opinion, I would not give max money to DeAndre Jordan. I wouldn't.
I want to know what the subscribers and the fans think. Would you pay DeAndre a max contract? Let me say one more point too, Spade. Be wary, teams, because I remember a guy named Ben Wallace, and the Chicago Bulls gave this guy a lot of money. He was a great defender. Wasn't nothing on offense. Was a great defender. Was a great rebounder. And we ended up trading that guy back to Detroit. Like, nobody else wanted him but Detroit. Like, DeAndre Jordan, in my opinion, is a more athletic Ben Wallace. Like, he's another Ben Wallace, man, with just more athletic. And you got to be wary about giving guys like that all that money, man, because they, DeAndre Jordan is a very young player. I hope and pray he develops, offensively and from the free throw line. And maybe the next contract after this one, he could be a max player. But right now, at this moment, DeAndre, you are not a max player. But I'm interested to know what the subscribers and the fans think. I want to know, do you guys think DeAndre Jordan, is he a max player, man? Let me know in the comment section down below. You ready to move on, Spade?
Yes, sir.
Speaking of more big, man, it's some bigs, man. These bigs, boy. Speaking of bigs, Larry Bird, Larry Legend, who we all respect as one of the greatest NBA players of all time, said that Willie Cauley-Stein is a $100 million player. Now, if you guys don't know, Willie Cauley-Stein plays or played. He decided to, declare for the NBA draft. He played for the Kentucky Wildcats. And, he was a big guy. And the funny thing, what I want to say is, Larry might have to mention, man. They might gotta go check Larry Bird out, man. Willie Cauley-Stein wasn't even the best player on that team, but he said that Willie Cauley-Stein is $100 million. He will be a $100 million player in the NBA. To me, Willie Cauley-Stein is DeAndre Jordan. He's DeAndre Jordan, and I just don't think that Willie Cauley-Stein will ever. I could be wrong, and some of you guys, some of you guys in the comment section might tell me some stats or tell me something, tell me to go back to this game or that game. I just don't see it. I watch college basketball, maybe not as much as you guys, but what I seen from Willie Cauley-Stein, he wasn't even the best player on that team to say that this guy is worth $100 million in the NBA. No, sir. How do you feel about it, Spade? You think Larry was on that Indiana Kush?
Yeah, I mean, I respect Larry, and because I respect him so much, I want to believe he's seen something that I haven't seen. But the last player that Larry Bird tried to convince me was that guy was Lance Stevenson. So I don't know if Larry's the guy to really listen to. I'm not sure he's the best evaluator of talent.
It's so many other people like Okafor, Towns, like a lot of these guys, like you could say any one of these guys have the potential. Emmanuel Mude, I think that's how you pronounce his name. Like you can look at any one of these guys and you could be like, these guys have potential to be the next big thing in the NBA. But you're looking at Cauley-Stein, who changed his name to Willie Trill Cauley-Stein. That man right there, you saying is worth $100 million. Willie Trill. I just don't agree, Larry. And if you draft that dude, please be wary, man. Please, because he wasn't even the best player. He wasn't even the best player on this college team, man.
Let me add this before we move forward. And I know the state of college hoops has changed, especially with Kentucky, who stockpile talent. They got, 12 deep. They can bring anybody off the bench who's a great player. But you and I spoke about this once, and I hate to play the age card, but do you remember when the best players in college basketball put up crazy numbers?
Yeah, man.
Like the top players, I'm talking people go lottery now who average like 12 points a game. That's unheard of to me. Yeah. A guy right now that you guys consider a bum, Michael Beasley, when he was at K-State, he was cooking fools. He was dropping like 30 a night. So, I mean, it's tough for me to evaluate college talent nowadays. And I'll be honest with you. I'm not great at evaluating college talent. I was the person to admit I was wrong about Anthony Davis. I said Anthony Davis is real athletic. He's a great shot blocker. And I think he'll be okay. I was wrong. The guy's amazing. So I don't know, man. I just know back in my day, college players who was they dominated at the collegiate level. And it's tough for me to see a guy not dominate at that level. And I can see his potential in the pros. I'm not good at it. I'm just not.
Not only not dominate at that level, but for his height on that team, you know what I mean? You would have thought that, that he would have been it. And I just don't see it. I don't see it either. I could be wrong. I actually, the NBA draft is right around the corner. I think the lottery is either tonight or tomorrow. Either not tonight or tomorrow. So, I mean, we have to wait and see how all these guys pan out. It's like shooting crabs in the barrel, man. Like you hope and pray that you pick the right person. And everybody thinks that they're picking the right person. That's why it's like crabs in the barrel. You figure one of these guys get the first or the second or third pick. That, the guy that they picking is a lock. And that's not how it goes in the NBA. It's been a lot of buzz. Look at guys like Kwame Brown, Sam Bowie. It's been a lot. Greg Oden, who was pretty freaking amazing. When he played, he was pretty freaking amazing at Ohio State when he played. You know what I'm saying? But
I didn't even think he was amazing. I thought he was just okay. But I get your point.
But it's a lot of dudes that bust out there, man. So we definitely have to be on the lookout, and we're gonna keep our eye on these guys, man. And one thing about Strong Arm Sports, when we wrong, we'll be like, if you guys change our mind in the comment section, we'll be like, that's a good point. You kind of swayed me a little bit. So leave your thoughts on that in the comment section down below.
All right, well, bro, let's change subjects. Let's change sports. Okay. You all right with that?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, so the NFL, and they've talked about this for a while, but they just ruled, I believe it was something like 30-2, to change the PAT process. And this is point after touchdown, whatever you want to call it, the extra point. And they decided to change it. They ruled on it. So if you want to go for 2, you still can go for 2 in a traditional way. The only difference is now it's a live play. So if you throw an interception or it's a fumble, the defense can return that for the 2 points. But if you want to kick an extra point, you got to go back to the 15-yard line, which I think makes it like a 27, might as well say 30-yard field goal attempt. Yeah. The whole notion was that the extra point was just automatic. Very seldomly do people miss an extra point, and they very seldomly get blocked. So, me, usually I complain about people changing the history of a game, changing the rules. But before I go in on how I feel about it, how do you feel about this?
Well, I'm probably the old man here. Just leave it alone, bro. I just want them to leave it alone. I don't care if it was 97% completion from the 2 kicking. Man, just leave it alone. Just when people still pretty, with these kickers, they still pretty much automatic from the 15. Especially it's going to be right down the middle, right down the center. Unless somebody slip and fall, it's going to still be pretty automatic. Just leave it alone. If it was me, I would have just left it where it was at, kept it the same. But I would have made it. If you want to change something, I would have kind of changed. Instead of saying it's a 2-point conversion, change it to a 4-point conversion. Like, do something else. Leave the kick alone, man. Leave the kick alone. I mean, the NFL they've been killing it over the past couple years. Right now, they are winning when it comes to like TV contracts and money being accumulated in their sport. Like, they are killing it with ads, and like they are just making so much money. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Leave it alone. Now we got to get used to kicking it from the 15-yard line, and we got to get used to this crap. I don't know if they're trying to stir up more people going for 2. Do you think that would make more people go for 2? Because I just think it's still going to be automatic from the 15-yard line. Maybe more people will go for 2. We have to wait and see. Maybe a guy like Bill Belichick or Pete Carroll maybe do something like that. But I just don't see teams being like, you know what? 2-yard line, let's go get it. And I just don't see it. Just leave it alone.
And that's my thing with it. Now, keep in mind now that this is the second time the league has made a change on this. Because once upon a time, 2-point conversions only lived in the NCAA. So they added the 2-point conversions, which at the time everybody was like, whoa, you're going to add a 2-point conversion? They added it. And the truth of the matter is, not many people even go for 2. Why? Why go for 2? So you're talking about moving people back to the 15. Let me tell you, man, there's high school and middle school kids that can kick 15-yard field goals when they lined up straight down the middle, blindfolded. Yep. So these guys, this doesn't complicate it at all. And I'm really not a fan of changing things, but I'm really even more so not a fan of changing things when you're not changing things. This doesn't change anything. If you're going to change it, change it. Take it back, make it like a 35, 40-yard field goal. I mean, from the 35 or the 40. I don't mean including the end zone depth. Take it back, but putting it on the 15, man, this doesn't complicate that kick anymore. It's not one field goal kicker in the league like, oh, shit, we got to kick it from the 15 now?
I agree,
nobody.
Man.
This doesn't change anything. I think the 2-point conversion rate still would be the same. Like, it's no incentive to go for 2. You're not sitting over there like, oh, my God, from the 15, we might as well go for 2. Nobody's going to do that. This was a waste of time, and I just think it's dumb. I just think it's dumb.
If they really wanted to freak it, what they should have did was just get rid of the extra point and just make everybody have to go for 2. That's how they could have really freaked it. Get rid of the extra point at all, but then that's kind of like abolishing kickers. Kickers wouldn't matter anymore, and you will only need a kicker just to kick off and punt. So that's probably why they didn't do it. I get it, and I ain't trying to take nobody's job. But if you really wanted to make a change, get rid of the extra point. Get rid of the extra point and just make everybody go for 2. Make them all go for 2.
I say, I got an idea even better than that. I say put jetpacks on them and let them fly up in the, I mean, what else we got, bro? What else we got?
Moving on, still in football. Spade, this one kind of hit close to home to you because you're a Dolphins fan. The Dolphins made a big purchase. I don't know if I want to say purchase. A big signing, a big re-signing, a big extension. Right. They signed Tannehill to $100 million contract to be with the Dolphins forever. He's going to be with the Dolphins forever. So if you're a Dolphin fan and you don't like Tannehill, get used to having the Tanny around because he just signed a crazy deal. If you guys don't follow Strong Arm
Shame
Sports,
on you.
Matter of fact, I'm about to look at it right now. Cheeks, I'm about to tell you guys right now. I'm looking at it right now. It said the average salary for starting quarterbacks. Number 1 is Drew Brees. Number 2 is Peyton Manning. Wait a minute. Drew Brees, $20 million. Peyton Manning, $19.2 million. Number 3 is Aaron Rodgers at $18.7 million. Romo is at $17.1 million. And Ryan Tannehill is at $16 million. Wow. So the Tanny, and you know, Stay before you go, because I know this shit's squad and you want to speak on them. I was prepared to come on here and bang the cannon on the Dolphins. I was going to say, what was the Dolphins thinking? Tannehill ain't it. And then I looked up his numbers, man. And you know what? His numbers have been improving every year since he's been in the league. At one point in time, Spade hated Tannehill, by the way. You know, he threw for 27. He threw for 27 touchdowns, over 4,000 yards. And I mean, did they really? Ask yourself, did the Dolphins really have a receiving threat? I mean, they had Mike Wallace. They had the rookie Landry, who I like. I like Landry. They had Brian Hartline, but they ain't have nobody that really, like, scared the boots off you. That was like, oh, my God, we got to worry about Tannehill throwing to blah, blah, blah. They didn't have that guy, and he still put up good numbers. So I guess the Dolphins figured, you know, you got a good quarterback. He's grown. He's getting better every year. Might as well lock him up. So kudos to the Dolphins. They signed the guy. They locked him up forever. Spade, how do you feel about the Dolphins?
Well, I'm going to tell you, man, I like the move. And I'm going to tell you why. It's not because I'm a fan and I'm lost in fanmanship. It's because I did some research and I kind of read the fine print on this contract. And it's not really what everybody thinks it is. Okay. Everybody's looking at it like it's like a $96 million contract that locks the Tanny in to 2020. Because that's what it looks like from afar. But once you start to do your research, you realize that the Dolphins, somebody down there is pretty damn smart. And I think it's Matthew Tannenbaum or something like that. Not to be mistaken with Tannehill. So let me tell you, the way this contract is set up, it's really set up where the Dolphins can continue to evaluate Ryan Tannehill. So basically, it's set up where every 2 years, it's another reevaluation phase. And if he is performing like they want him to, then he gets that bump and he continues to go. In those 2-year intervals, if he's not, he's out. So it works like this. Basically, for the first 2 years, on point, at I guess the day he signed the contract, the Dolphins owed him $21.5 million. But that took care of the next 2 seasons. We good with him for 2 seasons. Now, that works out good because ordinarily we would have had to re-up on him in the same year that we was going to have to re-up on Ndamukong Suh, which would have been crazy. So it's very smart the way they got it broke down. It turns out that if he ends up being the star that they want him to be, then yeah, he'll end up getting $90-something million and they'll have this guy to 2020. But don't be surprised if it works out where he goes south. His performance has been going up, but if by any means it goes down, trust me, the Dolphins got it loophole and they got it in there pretty nice. It could actually end up saving these guys money. So it was a lot of stuff, maybe even too much stuff for me to try to explain all right here. Anybody interested in it, let me know. I'll tweet the article from the Strong Arm Sports Twitter account. And you know, even if you're not a fan of the Dolphins or Tannehill, just to read how clever it is, I'm going to tweet it anyway. So check it out. It's pretty clever. And the deal is pretty smart. It's not, you know, it's not as crazy as it seems from afar. And also, before we move forward, like you said, man, Tannehill is really playing good. He's a pretty good young prospect for this team. So the small time he's been in the league, I got some stats for him. Okay, so look, this guy already has over 11,000 yards passing and 63 touchdowns. This is a guy who was a quarterback, went to college. They was kind of like, you know what, we don't really need a quarterback. Made him a wide receiver, got in a situation where they went, oh my God, we need a quarterback. Hey, you come back over here, and made him back into a quarterback. And to make LePairs right, when the Dolphins drafted this guy, I wasn't sold. I was like, oh my God, they can't even get a guy who's been consistently playing quarterback. But I have eaten crow, and I like what the kid is doing. I feel like he has a bright future.
Yeah, they got to get him some weapons, though. They definitely got to get him some weapons.
True.
They did sign Jordan Cameron, but we already know he have a problem with concussions. But I mean,
and the kid Parker might end up being pretty nice for him. The wide receiver they drafted.
Devontae Parker, yeah. So I mean, you still need a little more. Maybe a running back. Who's your running back? Maybe a running back. Cheeks.
Man, you better advance this show. I'm about to come through the camera, man. Don't talk about Lamar.
Cheeks. But it's on you, man. You ready to move on?
Yes. So check this out, folks. This is the midweek show. We try not to hold you guys too long. So let's go ahead and wrap it up with our final topic for the day, man.
Okay.
If you're an NCAA football fan, you've heard all the Golson talk. Golson to here, Golson to visit. Here, Golson to visit. There, Golson been like Carmen Sandiego. Where in the world is this guy? He's all over the place. So turns out the NCAA is not a fan of what he's doing, and he's not the first to do it. It's been the other players that's done it as well. What happens is Golson is graduated. So since he's graduated, he can then transfer to another school without sitting out. And I don't really see a problem with it. But turns out the NCAA does. They said if these, what they would like to do in the future, which is probably next season, they're going to review this. If one of these student athletes graduates on an undergrad plan and they want to transfer, they want these kids to pursue that degree. What's happening is they taking up another 2-year program and they got like 1 more year of eligibility. So they're going to another team, they're playing for a year and they're outing. Now, I'm going to ask you your opinion on it, but first let me just go in.
Okay.
NCAA, I don't understand why you guys want so much control over these kids' lives that you don't compensate financially. And I don't want to hear that they get a free education thing, because last time I checked, you can't roll up at any restaurant and say, when they say cash or charge, you say free education. I want to put it. It doesn't work that way. My thing is this. These kids, when they come in, even if they don't graduate and transfer, they come in and do the necessary amount of years because the NFL has that policy, and then they're out. You can't make those guys get a degree. So once these guys actually graduate with an undergrad degree, who gives you guys the power to make them pursue a second degree? Like, get out of here. The NCAA really gets under my skin with all these stupid rules and regulations, and they just want to play puppet master, control these kids. That man has a degree. Let him go wherever the hell he wants to go and let him do whatever the hell he wants to do. I don't like how powerful these guys try to be. I don't like it.
I agree with you 100%, and this is why I see the power conferences, the big conferences, breaking away from the NCAA. I think they're going to just form their own little thing, and they're going to play against each other, because this is absurd. Instead of the NCAA making, being happy, like, you know what, one of our student athletes graduated, and he still want to pursue his education as well as play. They want to make it harder for him. Like, this is insane. Like, man, the NCAA annoys the hell out of me, man. They annoys me. Like, I also seen another rule that they're trying to stop people from getting like free oatmeal in like the cafeteria. Like, man, when I tell you that the NCAA annoys me, it pisses me off. Like, if Golson already done graduated, he did his time with Notre Dame, and Notre Dame's even implemented more rules and was like, you can't go here, because we can potentially play those teams. And Golson was cool with that. He just still wanted to go. Now, this isn't really, this isn't really Notre Dame. They did say we could and couldn't go. They did tell the teams they would not approve his transfer to. But if Notre Dame cool with it, if Notre Dame cool with him leaving and going wherever, what do the NCAA have to do with anything? Why? Like, he ain't breaking any rules. It's within the rules. And if you guys change the rules, somebody needs to sue. It needs to be a class action lawsuit or something for the rule to stay the same. Because these kids done graduated. If they want to continue their education and have another year eligibility and go somewhere else, that should be within their right, man. Come on, NCAA, do better. Do better. Come on, man. I cannot wait to see what you guys think about this rule. Potential, I'm doing the quote fingers here, potential change, in the future, man. Hopefully the NCAA do right by these kids, because they ain't been doing too well by them right now, man, at this juncture. The NCAA, man, 2 thumbs down to you, man. Y'all suck. All the money these people are making you, man. Y'all suck. Y'all suck, yo. For real. Spade. Whew. For a midweek show, boy. You got your boy in here sweating, and it was some pretty good topics, man. And, as usual, we want to thank you guys a lot, man. Like, when I looked at our stats of our audio podcast, man, and I seen we was like 186 out of like 30,000. I couldn't believe it, man. We was like number 186 out of like 30,000 other sports podcasts, man. I want to thank you guys. Can't thank you guys enough, man. I want to thank you so much. If you new, bang the subscribe button, especially over here on our channel, Strong Arm Sports. Bang the subscribe button. We over 500. We working on getting a custom URL right now. Also, if you're a regular here, bang the like button, share your thoughts in the comment section. Spade, anything else?
Nah, man, I'm out.
All right, man. We'll see you guys next episode.